Hey y'all, we have launched our very own merch on the Letters 2 Media merch store. We have a bunch of good looking t-shirts and hoodies. If you want your own Haddonfield Horror merch, click on the link in the description.
Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast. We review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark.
I'm Tawan.
I'm Maria.
And today we're reviewing Scream 6, released in 2023, directed by Radio Silence, and written by James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick. Maria, can you give the people the plot?
4 survivors of the Ghostface murders leave Woodsboro behind for a fresh start in New York City. However, they soon find themselves in a fight for their lives when a new killer embarks on a bloody rampage.
So, initial thoughts. Maria, what are your initial thoughts of the movie?
I mean, I liked it better than I thought I was going to like it, to be honest. It was, I mean, I didn't know where they were going to go with it, especially without having, Sidney there. But it was good. I liked what they did with it. I liked the movie. It was gory. I know people liked that the chase scenes were longer. I personally didn't, but to each their own. But I liked it. I liked the movie.
Tuan, initial thoughts.
Yeah, so my initial thoughts, like going into the movie before seeing it, was I really wasn't sure what we were gonna get with like the story and everything for this one. Well, all I just knew was I was excited. Now that I have seen the movie at this point 3 times as of yesterday, Um, I really do like what they did. I like it more than five, which I know a lot of people didn't like five. I personally did like five, but I liked it more than five because it really felt like the team behind this one, like, took actually like passed the baton where like five was supposed to give us that feeling of it like being like Scream for New Age, but in my opinion it was more so them just getting the franchise back on the map with people and also easing in newer people as well as like the older fans and stuff. But now with this one, they like officially passed the baton to the new people, the core four as they coined themselves in the movie, and they went with it, and I really like the direction that they took. I do have like some like issues, but for the most part, I liked it more than I had like anything bad to say about it.
For me, I always try to go in without any expectations because that's the fastest way to be let down. So I was kind of like just wanted to see what was going to happen. And for me, this movie had it teased more potential than it actually like gave, and that was kind of a letdown for me. But like overall, like I love the movie. The movie was great, but there's just like there are things that could have been done that would have made it better. But I'll talk about that as we go along because I want to talk about that opening kill because I was shook.
That
First of
was great.
all, I knew Samara Weaving was going to be open and killed because
No, me too.
there's no way. There was no way.
I think I said that also in the
You
preview.
did.
Yeah,
you've been saying that like in like the group chat since like they announced her casting.
yeah.
I was
I just thought it. She gave like that opening kill energy for me.
when I saw that, I was like, "Fucking Tawan was right. He's gonna be."
Though literally as soon as I saw her at the beginning, I'm like, oh my god, my girl did.
Then I'm like, I love that she had her accent, and I love like the whole like that whole like her in the restaurant. I was like, okay, this is different. This is what I wanted. It feels like they're in New York because they didn't really use LA to its full like advantage. But this, it felt like New York. It was busy. It was bustling. There were people everywhere. She was running down the street, and then they got to an alleyway, and I was like, oh shit, they didn't film this in New York. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
there's an alley. They're not in New York. Fuck. But then she's killed, and then Ghostface took off his fucking mask. And when I tell you the whole theater gasped, it was a collective.
no, for real. my
what
partner
about, what
like
about what
my
about you
partner
two?
got grabbed my partner like grabbed my hand and was like, "What the fuck?" Because like I had just shown them all the movies the week leading up to this one so that we could see it together, and like they were like, "What the fuck?" Like when that happened, I was too. Especially because after the kill, we get like the graphic like Scream 6 or whatever. I was like, "Oh, it's not happening. What the fuck is happening right now?" So it was definitely like, oh, where are we going with this? Like, are we gonna know the killer the entire time? Like, because that would be some different
I
shit.
was so pumped for that. But
Yeah,
what about you, Maria? What was your when you saw the opening kill like that, and he pulled off the mask? Like, what were you thinking? How did that
You
go
know,
for you?
I was definitely not expecting that. Like, I was just like, yeah, I didn't know where they were gonna go with it. Um, well, I thought because I remember somebody mentioning like a cult kind of thing, and I thought that's where it was going. That it's just like a cult of ghost faces
That's
going
what I
around,
thought.
you know. But then no, then it got so much better.
I was here for the when he took off his mask, and I was like, "Oh shit, oh shit!" But then, like Tawan said, we usually get the title card, and I was like, "Wait, can we see his face? It's Tony. It's Tony Revolori." I was like, "Cute, sexy." You know, he's definitely. I was like, "Oh, oh." I was like, "No, they made him the killer." I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. I mentioned that last week. I was like, "I think he's gonna be the fucking killer." But then I was like, "Wait, there's no title card, and we're just watching him like walk." I was like, something ain't right. Something's afoot because where the fuck is the title card? Like there are things you do in Scream. You show the attack, you do the title card. That's just how it goes. And then
yeah,
there was nothing. And then he got to his house, and I was like, oh, he got like a shrine. I was like, oh shit, I think my theory about the cult might be right. And I was being teased, and I was like, fuck yes. And then he got the call from Ghostface, and I was like, oh, is it going to be like the cult members are like competing to like kill Sam and her friends? I was like, okay, okay. And that's when my expectations went off the charts because I was like, if this is like a competition thing, like the cult is just going batshit crazy and trying to like get the most amount of victims, I was like, this could be really enjoyable. But as the movie went on, I realized that wasn't happening. And I was like, damn, my heart's broken. But fun Easter egg, Jason, well, his name was Jason, one. And then he was also watching Jason Takes Manhattan.
yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed that. That was cool.
I was like,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I thought all of that was like great. And then like his phone call that he had with the real ghost face of the movie. Like, let me just put this out early. Let me give a shout out to Roger L. Jackson because that man, he be doing that ghost face voice, bro.
No
like
one
man,
else could do that. Like, when he dies, just like retire, go, like, stop the whole franchise because, like, yeah,
man.
like, as we've shown, we can have a movie without Nev, but I can't have a movie without that voice. Like, I'm
Like
sorry.
he just does that voice like so good. Like, and it's like the inflections that he puts in the voice and everything. Like it's just something about it. Like, and then like at the beginning, like when Jason killed Laura, he's like, "Now I see something red." Like it was corny, but like the way Roger delivers it, it makes it sound so menacing. Or like when Jason eventually dies, and he's like, "Well, I want to finish that movie. Who gives a fuck about movies?" Like that shit cracked me up. The way he delivered it, it was just so perfect, and like. I just want to get that out the way like early on because like the little like hot and cold game that like Ghostface was playing with Jason, and once he got to like the fridge to open the door, he's like, "You're on fire," and like the inflections that he was just giving with the voice performance, like it's always good.
Yeah, and I watched this twice because like there were things like I watched the first time just to watch it so I wouldn't be spoiled, and then the second time I was like, okay, now I can actually pay attention. Like, and who gives a fuck about movies? I didn't catch that the first time, but the second time I was like, oh, this makes sense because the Ghostface isn't actually obsessed with like horror movie tropes or anything. Like,
Hmm.
it's just it was completely
They out for
different.
blood.
They are for blood. It's what it's pretty much what the second one was. Like Billy's mom just wanted
Yep.
revenge, and then they
Yeah.
just wanted revenge. It was they pretty much redid the second movie down to the college thing, but at least we got to see more of the fucking college, like the city, because we didn't see any of the college town in fucking Scream 2. But enough about that. Let's talk about. Wait, which one do I usually do first? I forgot. Which one do I do? Do I do kills or scenes first?
I think it's
I for,
scenes then kills.
okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. I'm off. I'm off today. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. Whew. So, enough about that. Let's talk about some scenes that stood out, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, for me, uh, the alley scene, it took it away from me. Like, it was just, it wasn't, I was like, damn, like, you can't set this in New York and then do stupid shit like that. But then also, like, was that supposed to be Central Park? Because what was that? I was like, this is not Central Park.
Are you talking about when they were like trying to trace the call?
Yeah, I was like, this is not Central Park. Like, I don't know what that is, but that's not Central Park. But I did like that scene because when they were in the van, I was like, "This is how Randy died in a fucking van." And then she fucking said it. She was like, "This is how her uncle died." I was like, "Yes, Mindy, yes, there you go." But what about you guys? Were there any scenes that like stood out for you guys, good, bad, or indifferent?
Yeah.
Maria? Oh,
I'll
well,
go. No, Maria, you go.
I mean, I actually liked that beginning scene. I liked the opening kill. Um, I feel like it was set up well because I don't know. You just wouldn't have thought that the guy she was messaging on, like, wherever that was the killer. I thought she was gonna accidentally be killed or something. I mean, I was kind of hoping that in a way she was the killer, but that's just me. But
I was
I
hoping
low
that
key
too.
wanted that too.
She would have made such a good killer.
Like she was leading it, like that'd have been perfect.
Yeah, it wouldn't have, like I feel like they wouldn't have gave us that. I feel like she'd have been too noticeable as a killer. That's why I gave her open and kill.
she did so well. I mean, I liked the kill. I also really liked, the scene where like the other ghost face kills, like what are the first guys? I don't know. That was like a really, really, really great kill. And I personally didn't like Gail's chase scene, to be honest. I don't know why.
Really?
It was just kind of like,
There were parts. There were parts.
yeah, I don't know.
So I get what you mean. There were parts when I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, yeah. So I was just kind of like, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I didn't like how they made you think that she died and she didn't. It was just kind of dumb. Um, I also I also didn't really like Chad's stab scene when like the two ghost faces are stabbing him. Like, okay, so that it started off really good, but then it got kind of weird because they're just stabbing him and he's just like smiling. And, I don't know. It was kind of weird to me. Like, there's no way that I don't know. I thought it was weird.
I liked it because it was the first time we saw two ghost faces at the like attacking someone at the same time. So that part was cool. But then I was like, Yeah, he was making weird facial expressions, and I was like,
He
"The fuck!"
was.
But also, I wasn't expect when the third ghost face popped out. I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Wait, what's happening right now? This is too much for me." What about you, Tuan? Any scenes that stood out, good, bad, or indifferent?
Yeah, like a couple of there. I thought there were a couple of good like exposition scenes, like the one when they like on the news they said like Sam has been like implicated in the death of the therapist, and they had like that like heart to heart at the table, the dinner table. I thought that was a really nice scene, just for like some good like character building, which I felt like Five was like missing, and also like that scene of like her and Tara leaving the party after Sam tased that guy, and Tara was just kind of like mad at her for being overbearing. It's like understandable as to why Sam would be overbearing at this point, but like also for Tara to want to be her own person and not live in the past. And so I thought like that was like nice. And then they called it back at the end when she was like, you gotta let me go, and that part happened at the end of the movie. um Another scene that I did like was the whole like apartment sequence. Like that whole like sequence in itself.
That was cool, but also annoyed me. I was like, because the neighbor guy. I was like, you can't get their attention. And he wasted like 10 minutes trying to get their attention when he could have ran his ass across the fucking building and probably would have got there and got their attention a lot quicker. But that was my only gripe. He was
Mm,
fine.
possibly.
He
Yeah.
made like the weirdest facial expressions. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie, that's just that actor. He does that in
Oh, I was really
every
about to say he just looks like that.
he does that in every role that he's in, even in like in rom coms. That's just like his face. I don't know why he does that, but like
Because he's in the She Hulk show with Marvel, and he literally acts the same way.
Well,
But another like scene that I liked was towards the end when like the third act basically after the two ghost faces stabbed up Chad like into a pincushion, and they wiped their knives at the same time. I'm sorry, like that shit was I like that. As I would say to Mark, that was gas.
but going back for me, a scene that I think I'm over now is the explanation scene. Like for me, it goes back to when Sydney was talking to her brother Roman when she was like, "Just get to the fucking point. I've heard this shit already." Like, yes, can we just do that for the rest of the franchise, Sydney? It's like, get to the fucking point. Why are you doing this? I don't need some long drawn out story. You could have just said, "We're Richie's family. You killed Richie, so we want to make you pay." That would have been perfect. That's all I would have needed. But this like long drawn out speech and like Ethan was there. I was like, did Ethan even kill anyone? Like, shut up. Like, just get to the fucking point of the story and then
He,
start the whole
he can kill
final
Annika.
act. Oh yeah, Ethan did kill Annika. I think that's the only person he killed because
Yeah,
his sister got the big guy. But I'll talk about the kills later because I have a problem with a couple of them. But like the explanation at the end ruined it for me, and then the whole Mindy explaining the rules made no sense. There's like no fucking rules in the franchise. The only fucking rule in the franchise is like everyone can die and no one, or you can survive and still not come back to the next fucking franchise. I mean, that's what they do. Like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, like the whole fucking cast can die and have a fresh crop the next movie. It's like her franchise rules made no sense unless she's talking about like some Marvel shit or something. I don't know.
she did
And
mention
then,
Iron Man.
yep. And then the party scene was cool. It was cool seeing them like have a good time. The thing that was weird for me was Tara and Chad, because I, outside that scene when they're in her hospital room in Scream 5, we didn't see her interact with anyone except for Amber. So it's like it was hard for me to like believe their friendship. So
yeah.
I was like, these scenes kind of feel odd. I'm like, yeah, and I was like, they seem more like Sam's friends than they do her friends. Also, like, because the three of them are closer in age than they are to Jenna Ortega, so it just looks more natural for me because it just feels all like when he was on the bed and they're about to kiss. I was like, can someone call Chris Hansen because this don't feel right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to like go into something, Maria.
No, no, it's just I disagree.
Yeah, it just felt like her with Mindy and Chad felt weird. Her with Quinn and next to Ethan looked fine. They because well the guy who plays Ethan's like 19, but like her next to like Mindy and her next to the twins just felt weird for me. Like all of those scenes was just weird. I'm just like, we didn't see the two of you talk to each other in the last movie, and now y'all are like got some unrequited sexual tension towards each other. Like, what the fuck? This is random. But I agree with Sam. I would have been banging the next door neighbor too because despite
Period.
his facial expressions, he is attractive.
And she was absolutely right, and he deserves some good loving after the end of the
Mm.
movie.
And I'm gonna jump ahead, but I was happy that like he wasn't a killer because I was like, don't do this again. And I was like, also, don't kill him like y'all did that dude from Scream 2. So when she kind of just like shoot him off, I was like, oh, okay, so he's just like done. But then he came back and she was like, yeah, I'll see you later. I was like, oh, okay, this
Yeah,
is
he got the reverse Derek.
he'll be back in Scream 7. Okay, cool. But enough of that. Tuan, what are some kills that stood out for you? Good, bad, different, confusing.
Shit, definitely Annika's kill. Like, I'm sorry, the ghost face did her dirty as hell. Like stabbing her, twisting the knife, and then going up her fucking chest. That was crazy. Like, honestly, I was surprised they were able to keep that in the way it was and not get it cut. I feel like the MPAA be on some BS with
Her
that.
her face hitting that trash can,
That was
dramatic.
crazy. That was so crazy. Like that whole scene, like she made like obviously like I felt bad for her, but like I don't know the actress like she made me feel so bad for her. She's like, Mindy, I don't want to die. Like oh my god, like I was like somebody save this girl. I know she gonna die, but somebody save her, please. I'm like this girl trying to hold her guts in across a ladder, trying to get across, and she not gonna make it. That was crazy. Another kill that I did like was at the end with fucking Ethan just because he got hit with the TV. That was just funny for me when he got hit with the TV and Kirby was like, I saw that in the movie.
I do like when Tara like popped on top of him and like shoved the knife in his fucking throat.
That was crazy.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, we finally got Tara fighting back. And then the bodega was next level for me. Like with the
That
shotgun.
was still good. Yes, even though like I saw it, I was still like I was still like tense as fuck. Even though
Because
I seen the
they
trailer,
played it in the trailer. They played the whole fucking scene in the trailer. But it was still like
it was still
I was
tense as hell.
I was like, it was like Ghostface has a fucking shotgun. I was like, damn, this is different. And then the scene with Gail, like from what we were told, Quinn is the one who attacked Gail. So I'm supposed to believe that Quinn took down Gail's big muscular
That's what I said
boyfriend
too.
and threw him through the fucking shelf thingy. Come on.
That's what I said. The people that I were with, they were out because I was like, how does that make any sense? Like those two kids were small and skinny as fuck. And they were like, oh, maybe it was by surprise. But I was like, even by surprise, like, there's just no way. Like, there's absolutely no
You
way.
just even by surprise, you can't especially if he's dead, he's heavier once he's dead. Like forget how heavy he is alive. Like when you add that dead weight on top of him, like on top of it, you there's no way you can throw that she was able to throw his body through that fucking shelf.
I honestly said the same thing, but I honestly with the Scream movies, I don't even question like the ghost face strength, just because I feel like even though like yes, it does like take you out, but at the same time, I also don't really even think about it because I
Yeah,
mean like. Fucking what's that bitch name? Amber was putting up a whole fight against Dewey in the last movie. That bitch was
yeah.
small as hell and like 5'2". Even
I
though she
will
got the
say
upper hand, but yeah,
true. But he also had like a bad back and limp.
yeah.
So, but also with that chase, like only part I really enjoyed of that chase scene is that Ghostface wasn't clumsy. Like Ghostface was
That
ducking and
bitch
dodging.
was that bitch was a menace in the suit.
She was ducking and dodging. I was
He was chopping over couches and shit. Like, damn.
but I also was like, wait, this is Gail's first call because like, and the call that Randy took was actually meant for Gail. But this was like the first time Gail actually spoke to the killer, and I was like, "Oh, this is her first call." I was like, "Shit,
hmm
Gail dead. There's no way." I was like, "Fuck."
I'm gonna be. I
Yeah,
really think she. I feel like she was actually meant to die, and I think they just
yeah, it was
added
some
that in.
contract thing last minute, and they was like, "Fuck it,
Yeah,
we'll have that back."
I think they intended for her to die, especially
Because
with the whole
she had the
Sydney.
upper hand.
Yeah,
Like I wasn't expecting a glass shard to be
me
like picked
neither.
up, but I was like, "Fuck." With that last line, like, tell Sydney I didn't let him get me. I was like, "Oh yeah, she did. She did as fuck."
Yeah, and I felt like that's why I felt like she was supposed to die with that line, and like we would have got later on whatnot with whatever happens in 7. But I feel like they
Hmm.
went back. I feel like that was probably meant before when Nev was like still attached,
I
and I
think
feel like maybe
that
that
was
was brought her.
what was supposed to bring Nev back, like how
Yeah,
Dewey's death. Yeah, because
I could have seen that.
they did say like Nev not coming forced them to like change the script and change the Ghostface motives.
Yeah,
I
and
wonder what the original script was.
I do wonder that, and I feel like some people probably would have thought it like if they actually killed Gail, maybe it'd have been disrespectful to Sydney, and I feel like they just changed it that way.
Yep.
But I didn't feel bad not having her in the movie though. Like, not saying I don't like Sydney, that's my bitch.
To
But
be
like,
honest, I didn't.
I didn't really notice. Like, obviously I noticed, but I didn't like notice for the story that we were in.
I believe if we didn't, I'll get to it later. But Maria, what are some kills that stood out for you? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I mean, I liked the first kill. I liked the kill of the two ghost faces, like the first ones. I feel like those were really brutal. The bodega also got me. Like that scene was very intense. Um, I yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't really like Mindy's kill. But I mean, when he stabbed her and twisted like the knife, that was a lot. I was like, Jesus Christ, I was not expecting to see all of that. Um, and I mean, yeah, kind of like what you guys said, I guess when Tara like jumped onto Ethan and started stabbing the shit out of him, I thought that was great. Like I was like good for you, like because this I thought it was nuts. Um,
Yeah,
as well as let me see the scene where actually I guess that's I guess that's it.
yeah. There would have been more kills if they just let more people die. We got more
Yeah,
attacks than kills.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, because
They really died in this movie.
yeah,
Like,
I
but I
because
think the kill count. This is the most kills, right?
it's the most kills, but like no one of note really like
Yeah, Besides like Annika, I guess, and the killers.
No returning character died, like at all. Like none of the returning characters died, and not, I'll get to it. But there was Annika's kill was like her. I knew Homegirl wasn't gonna make it
No,
across
for
that
real.
ladder. I knew it. Like she also even if she did, she was like leaking blood, so she
Yeah,
wasn't gonna make it anyway. It's
she
just
was holding her damn guts in.
like it was. But only thing that got me is when we got to the train sequence
Oh yeah.
and Mindy got stabbed. I was like, Mindy is not gonna die. They can't kill Mindy because the controversy that comes with that, they don't want to do that. You can't kill the lesbian's girlfriend and then kill the main lesbian. Like they wouldn't do that. Like so, I was just like, fuck. Her girlfriend's dead. That means Mindy's either the killer or she's not gonna die. And then she got stabbed. So kept no, Mindy's not dead because her girlfriend's dead. Like I was like, fuck, damn. That goes my theory of having Mindy being the one get picked off.
See, they wouldn't have to worry about that if they would have followed the first script and made Tara gay like they intended.
Tara is supposed to be gay. I can see it.
Her and Amber were supposed to be partners.
See, that would have been perfect. I didn't know that. Was that leaked or something?
That's in like the original script. You
That
can read
been,
it online actually.
that's amazing. But I guess they probably knew they had a diamond in the rough with Jenna Ortega because Homegirl's big now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because in that what was that shit in Scream 5, like at the beginning, remember she told Amber like the liquor cabinet's unlocked. Originally, she was gonna send like a picture under her bra and send it to Amber to get her to come over.
I mean, they could have still made her a lesbian and then like just had Amber still hooking up and fucking. Amber could have been bisexual. Like that could have, or she could have been sexually fluid, like Quinn. Like whatever, could have still worked. Whatever, but like the other kill that stood out for me in a good way was the therapist kill
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
because I like that he was like hesitant. He was like, "Who the fuck is this at my door?" And then once the movie in the background started being like, you're next," I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, no, and it, right through the eye, through the fucking door thing. I was like, shit.
That's that like little part of Ghostface walking up to the frosted glass. That was clean. I liked that how that looked.
And that's the and the in the trailer, it made it seem like it was the group, it was the core four who was seeing him through the fucking glass. So I was like, oh, okay, that was a quick little trip.
Yeah. Well, shit. I didn't even mention Sam going crazy on the dad at the end. she went. She didn't even have to do all that.
Oh yeah.
She stabbed his ass more than she stabbed Richie and through the eye. Like damn.
I
Like I'm sorry
mean,
when the police see when the police see that I want to know what the fuck they thought happened.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of excessive, but like a lot had happened.
Hey, I was on her side though. I'm with her. I'm riding with her, but I'm just like damn.
Like I guess that's like the whole point, She's Billy's daughter. She, like what she said in the beginning, how she felt right stabbing um Richie. Like I guess that was the whole point. Is
Hmm.
she's supposed to be taking it like really far? Because then like right after that scene, Tara comes and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" But then then you see Tara do her own weird thing, and it worked out. It's
Yeah,
fine.
but then Tara was like, so you're not gonna finish this motherfucker off?
Yeah, exactly. That's like
Yeah,
it's
I don't know. It was.
supposed to think
I'm
that.
just. I'm over the whole Billy in the mirror thing.
He only appeared once
Yeah,
this
I
time.
could have deal without it. Like it wasn't really needed this time around. Like honestly, it wasn't even needed in the last one, to be honest with you. But like the only reason that I feel like they only kept it was because we know that she's on medication and she stopped taking it.
And also the fucking therapist. Like, what kind of you a therapist in New York, and this is the first time you heard something that made you squirm? Like, sir, because she liked killing the person who terrorized her.
I just hope that they actually go somewhere with this. It's not just she's being terrorized because she's Billy's daughter. I hope that at one point she doesn't. I I guess like I wish that at some point in this franchise they make her the killer because she cracked. Because at this point, then what's the whole point of making her hallucinate Billy or yeah, like hallucinate him and go,
She better
basically.
be the killer next movie.
That's what I hope for too.
Who, Sam?
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening.
I thought that's where they're leading us to, though.
that's what they better lead us
I don't
to.
think so. I feel like that's like that's not doing right by the character. Like she does have the dark side, which is like the opposite of like Sydney, I guess. Like she has like that, like Sydney has like that reluctance to her, where like Sam is like fuck it, like at this time, like I'm just gonna go crazy.
We'll get to that when we get to the character section. But I do want to say that from what I was seeing, I think Maria's prediction is where they're from like last week is where they're gonna go. Where she was like, maybe one of the killers will be the killer and not know. That's why I feel like they might be headed with Sam with the whole Billy thing. Like maybe she'll develop a split personality, and it's her split personality is her crazy daddy Billy. Maybe, but talk about more about that soon. But we're not talking about Sam right now. We're talking about Sam's boyfriend Danny. Now, I expected more from him. Like I expected him to be a suspect, but like I honestly never suspected him. I thought he was just gonna be another like body count. But he was there looking sexy and smoldering, doing those weird facial expressions he does. What about you, Maria? What'd you think about Danny?
I don't know. He didn't do anything for me. Like I don't. I'll like he is really easy on the eyes, but I just could not get over the weird facial expressions he was doing. Like, why are you doing that? Like, fix your face. Uh, but it's like he was just so useless. Like the only time that he was useful was like at the end when he brought the police. Like that is the smartest thing that man has done that whole movie. Like the scene where they're in the apartment, and yeah, he had more than enough time to go bang on her door. He lived right across the way. Like, like I was just, I don't know. I I just didn't see why he was there. I guess unless they're probably going to use him the next movie. But other than that, he was just really useless in this one.
Tuan, what about you? Any thoughts on Danny?
Yeah, like there wasn't much to him. I personally didn't think he was gonna be a killer. Like even prior to the like seeing the cast and stuff, I didn't. I don't know. He just wasn't giving me that energy, which I mean would have made it better if he was. But also just another love interest, I would have been like, come on, y'all! Like now y'all doing the most for real, doing like another boyfriend, but I just didn't really see it for him, which I'm glad. And then I was like, glad that it was kind of the callback to like Derek in Scream Two, where he was just really there for our final girl, in this case Sam, and like he was just trying to connect with her as he could, and he was getting the smash on the low.
Yeah, I feel like there could have been more done. I feel like if I was the writer, he would be the opening kill in the next one, but that's just me. I don't know. But let's talk about someone who should have been killed. Let's talk about Chad. Because y'all listened to me complain for 4 movies about how the fuck Dewey kept surviving. And after the second one, it was pissing me off. Like, So when we finally got Dewey and they finally killed him in the last one, I was like, it's about fucking time. And then they did this with Chad again because he looked pretty fucking dead in 5. And then we get to this one and he's stabbed by not one but by 2 ghost faces multiple times, and he survives. Other than that, like, his romance with Tara looked odd, and then when I see his face, I just see his dad, so I can't get over the whole like Gooding face. Like, I don't know. What about you, Tuan? What are your thoughts on Chad? He is
Well,
sexy though.
Chad can have me instead. With that.
Yes.
So um, but
Agreed.
Chad was great in this movie. He was definitely like, I like that they gave us like, a little bit more with the core four as they're called, just to rein him in a bit more, and I thought like he was like kind of funny in like 5 with some of the lines he was given, and I liked him in this one as well, and I thought he did a good job.
I love the core 4.
Yeah, I do love the core four. um, so I like that they like reined that in, but I will agree that I thought he should have died. Um, but also I feel like they're making him fill in that Dewey role as well, because if because I think if I read right like a while ago, I think he kind of got the same service as Dewey, where test screenings didn't like when he was actually dead, so they brought him back like they did Dewey for the first Scream, and they just made him be alive. And I feel like the same thing happened here, but in this one, he got stabbed like a good like 10 times. I don't know, like by the ghost faces, and they were stabbing all on his sides and shit. So he definitely he should be in a wheelchair right now. He shouldn't be walking in the next movie.
He
but
better have a limp like Dewey.
No, for real. He need a limp. He need a little more. I don't know, but and like also one thing that annoyed me when they were at the Halloween party and like Chad had his shirt off. I didn't see no scars on his body from where he got stabbed.
Where was he stabbed? I completely forgot. Like, where was he stabbed?
He was stabbed like all on the side of his torso, like in the last movie.
Because like they were very good with continuity because they like
I did
showed
see
Kirby's
Tara's,
stab.
and I
Yeah, and
saw Tara's with her
they,
hand.
and they showed Kirby's.
And I think that was about it. But like, yeah, when he was in that scene though at the party, like it was pretty well lit to see him, and I was like, where the fuck is the scars? They probably was there. They probably weren't just shown like good enough. But like, I personally didn't see it, and I was like, interesting, because I'm like, he got stabbed like all on the side of his body.
And he seems like the kind of guy who would use his stab wounds to get laid. Like, yeah, I survived a serial killer. You know, here's my stab. Here's my scar. But what about you, Maria? What are your thoughts on Chad?
Honestly, I like Chad. I was kind of glad that he didn't die. I think I was more upset that he was gonna die. I was like, no. Though I do agree, the romance between him and Tara, it was kind of weird, and I don't know where to put my finger on it. It was just like it
I
felt
know
kind
where
of
he wants to put
forced.
his finger on it.
But it felt really forced though. Like I felt like yeah, in the last movie, I don't remember them really interacting a lot or like speaking or having anything special. And suddenly, like they're together, suddenly there's chemistry. I don't know. I really liked him better as the whole Big Brother figure. I think that suited him better. But I guess. I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I was happy that he lived. That was the highlight for me.
Yeah, I was happy that he lived, but also I was like, he should have died. But I'm gonna let it slide. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, I was like, I'll let it slide just because it's Chad. I do see like what you said about them trying to make him into like another Dewey, but I mean, it worked for 4 movies. Like, It just
Yeah,
works.
but it was just Dewey, but this time it's Chad, it's Gail, it's Mindy. Like it was too many people surviving in this movie and not enough dying. Because Dewey survived, but Randy died. Dewey survived, but Cotton Weary died. And then no, they all survived after that. Oh, okay, that makes sense because Dewey, Gale, and Sydney kept on surviving. So I guess whatever. But let's talk about the other twin. Let's talk about Mindy. Maria, what are your thoughts on Mindy?
Honestly, I was kind of hoping that Mindy was the killer. Um, because I don't know, like you kind of need a nerd. I don't know, like when people were like expecting kind of like Randy to be the killer, then like it wasn't. I don't know. I kind of feel like it'd be cool. Um, but I like Mindy. I like the comedic relief that she brings. I enjoy her presence and her lines. I like how she was just outright accusing everybody, even like her girlfriend, because like as you should. Like Mindy, to me, Mindy in this movie was doing everything right, except for separating everybody from separating from them on the subway, which wasn't her fault.
That wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
But like you're right. Like accusing everyone, like someone who you grew up with and who you've been friends with for your entire life turned out to be a killer who just tried to like murder you and your brother and your friends. So like yes, accuse everyone, even the bitch you sleep with. So I applaud her for that.
Yeah. I think. Well, wait. Are you still going, Maria? I'm sorry.
No, no, you can go ahead.
Um, I think one thing that while Mindy was right that Ethan was one of the killers, I think the only thing that I didn't like about Mindy's character was, always like being so like upfront about it. Like I felt like it was more casual in like some of the past movies, like in like the first movie when they were at the fountain after Casey died, and they were like not hinting at it, but kind of like being sly about it. But whereas Mindy was just like, "Get out of my face, ghost face! You're a ghost face!" Like I don't know, it just felt like she was just more like out about it. It didn't feel right in my mind, but like I mean, she was right though.
Yeah, like that whole train sequence was
That was
intense.
crazy. That
Cause
was.
that was like another trailer like trickery because in the trailer you thought they were all on the train together, but then to see that she's pretty much by herself with this new character who we really don't know, I was like, oh my god, this bitch about to get it. And the amount of Easter eggs on the train, I was like, this is a lot. And she's seeing a balloon from it. Mindy's gone. R.I.P. Which I kind of wouldn't have minded, but whatever. Cool. Let's go to Gail. Did you guys like seeing Gail back? Was it just too much? How did you guys feel?
I was alright with Gail in this one. I felt it fitting just because she does live in New York, and we know that from like the past movies and stuff. So, like, if Gail didn't show up, it would have felt more weird in my head with the setting in mind. So, just like knowing that and that she lives here and everything, um, it makes sense that she would be in the movie. Um, it was funny when she dodged that punch from Sam. It was like I did this before. Fucking Tara got her ass. That was satisfying because she deserved that. Because like she definitely said that she wasn't gonna write a book about it, and of course the bitch goes to write a book as she always does in these movies. I saw some people were saying like that's out of character for Gail. I'm like, no, Gail will write those damn books if she ain't got nothing to write about. But besides that, like she was used like a good amount for me. Like they didn't overdo it. She was used just right. She got her action scene, and besides that, like I thought she was in a decent amount of time. She probably got about the same amount of screen time as she did in the last one, maybe a little more because of her chase scene.
Yeah, she got a little more. But for me, like having her first Ghostface call was cool. The chasing is what it is. Her dodging a punch and then getting punched by Tara, that was I'm like, okay, we're doing this again. Like at the end of the fifth movie, she said she was gonna write a book. Now she write a book, and now she getting punched in the face again. Okay, I guess we got to keep going there. And then it's just like, if it was just Gail on the TV reporting, they someone pulls out their phone and they go to TikTok and there's like a little breaking news and it's Gail Weather like another Ghostface attack, or they turn on the TV like if Gail was just like a TV reporter on the TV giving us updates about the attacks, like I would have been okay with that. I would have been fine. But what about you, Maria? Did you like Gail's inclusion?
I guess. Like I do agree with what you guys said. It was like yeah, it's like they made her just back into the same Gale she was in the second movie, when she made the book. And like what did you think was gonna happen? Like why would you think that they would want to talk to you after you called them unstable? Like it's literally the same thing with Cindy. Like I don't understand. I thought she had made progress. Um so I really did not like that. Um yeah, it was just kind of I mean, for one, she was barely there. I feel like she wasn't in the um, like they didn't let her be in those investigations. Which I mean, honestly, they really shouldn't, because um, just because she's
I mean, this is the first time we had more than one cop, so it made sense.
that's true. I don't know. I guess I just didn't really like her in this movie. She was just kind of. It just reminded me of the old Gale. Like what was, like what was the whole point of that? You know, of her. And then like not to mention they kept bringing up Dewey. Like I'm sorry, but that man
They
is.
even played Dewey's theme.
I'm sorry, I like that though.
No, like Dewey dead.
I thought like, but I get what you're saying, Mark. But I feel like it wouldn't even be true to Gail's character if they just show her in the news and not trying to participate, because her ass always come where Ghostface is. Because what Tara ass said is true. If she ain't got no Ghostface in her life, what she ain't got nothing else going on.
I mean, which is what they did show us in part four.
Basically, and she got her little groove back for a little bit, and that's what
Yeah,
drove her
but
into
I
it.
agree with Maria. It's like we watched her evolve over 5 movies, and you just regressed her back to like the beginning.
But I feel
And
like that's her not having Dewey though.
but she didn't have Dewey in. Okay, that kind of makes sense because she didn't have Dewey in part when we saw her in part two. She didn't have Dewey when we saw her in part three, but then she had Dewey in part four, and she was miserable. But she was also because she was stable in part five, but it's also because she knew that Dewey was around. But like Dewey being gone, I guess. But I agree with Maria. It was too much of the old thing and not enough of like the Gale that we grew to love.
I mean, she's still. I feel like she's still like there, but I feel like that old Gail of like she always wanted to get the story like first on the watch with Gail Weathers type beat.
Actually, you know what it is, Maria?
What?
It's she's that Gale that we know and love when she's with people that we love and she loves. When she's with Sidney or she's with Dewey, she's like the Gale that we watch grow. But when she's with like these whole group of people, she's like, I don't, I'm not bonded with these people. I'm just gonna fucking cash in. So I can kind of see it
True, that
because
makes sense.
like a selfish Gale, like Gale from part one and part two, wouldn't have called to like check on Sydney when the Ghostface murder started up again. But Gale did that. So I guess it depends. I guess I guess. But that stab with that glass shard was
That was
fuck.
crazy.
I was like, damn, Gail. But I will say, she ran straight for the gun. I was like, yes, she is smart. And she started shooting before she opened the door. Like, don't even give him a chance to come in, Gail. Shoot that motherfucker. I was like, damn.
And that's Star 69. I'm sorry, that shit was funny.
Oh yeah, that part was really funny actually.
And I was for sure thought like Ghostface was going to whoop Gail's ass, and it was going to be like some clumsy reason for her to get out. But I was like, no, Gail is actually putting up a fucking fight. Like, damn. I'm like, she fighting more than the dude with the muscles was just fighting. Like, what the fuck? Because he gave the fuck up. Like, what the hell?
That was
But
his fault.
what?
Him,
No, go ahead.
no, like I said, that wasn't his fault.
How was it? It wasn't his fault.
He got ambushed.
By a girl half his size that he probably could have taken. But I applaud Gail. Go get that. Go get it, Gail. But let's talk about Kirby now. Kirby was dead as fuck in part four. I'm not gonna lie. Like we saw that movie, she was gone. But Wes Craven said Kirby wasn't dead and that he had planned on bringing her back if he made a sequel. And people have been screaming for Kirby since part four.
And I'm people.
Honestly, same. Like she of that Scream 4 cast, she was the only like breakout character. Like no one else resonated. Shit, no one else survived.
No, actually,
Like,
though.
like that whole no one else survived. So like when they were doing Scream 5, everyone was like, "Oh my god, Kirby, Kirby, Kirby," and then the little thumbnail that was like, "Oh, Kirby survived." So I was like, they have to bring her back for the fifth one. And when it was announced, I was like, yes, okay. I saw the wig discourse on Twitter, and at first I was like, they doing too much. But then seeing it on the big screen, I was like, homegirl, like y'all couldn't use her real hair. Like, what is this? This wig is kind of distracting because it's not moving. The hair ain't moving. Like, something ain't right. I don't like it. But I will say, this is the part I was holding on to. I do feel if we had Sydney, we wouldn't have Kirby. That's one
Yeah.
of the main reasons why I
Well,
was happy.
I feel like they both would have been in.
I feel like most of the scenes where we had Kirby, we would have had Sydney. I mean, they wouldn't have had Sydney get shot by the cop at the end, but like, I feel like most of those scenes, like, they could have had Sydney there somehow. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you can't get Sydney until you get Kirby. I feel like they wouldn't have been able to exist at the same. It would have been too much if we would have had both at the same time. But I did enjoy her being back. I loved the scene where they were in the shrine and she was looking at the knife that stabbed her. I was like, okay, this is what I've been missing from this franchise. I need more of this. Like this was
Mhm.
fucking that was good. But what about you, Maria? Did you enjoy seeing Kirby back?
I did. I don't feel as strongly about her as Kawan does, but I did enjoy having her back. She brought. It was just nice to have a cop that actually like understood, and actually did something. Um, Even though the other cop was the killer, but I liked it. Like I liked having her back. She brought this really. It was so like nostalgic, I guess. And yeah, like the scene where she looks at her own knife, like the knife that stabbed her. It was like it. I don't know. It kind of brought the movie like together, really.
What about you, Twan? What are your thoughts on having Kirby back?
Yeah, I was just glad to see her back because I really did like her character in four. She's just like she played up that character really well in four, and I was just like glad that she was back for this outing with the new characters, which like was kind of like another like bridge because like four was supposed to be like its own trilogy, but then it didn't happen. So it's like another like baton like moment of someone being able to relate, um, and being on like their level and stuff, but also um, with her like being a cop and everything, she had like some extra like resources and things like that, and just like the little moments that she had with some of the cast, which I definitely do agree with Martha. Like some of her moments do feel like they could have been Sydney's. Like that scene where she went to go talk to like Tara. I definitely thought that was gonna be like Sydney.
Because I did say that she was the only one who survived, only new cast member who survived Scream 4, but Judy also survived Scream 4, but she got often Scream 5. So like they I feel like they took the two most outstanding characters from that crop and like plopped them in, because you could have just left Scream 4 completely out. But
They could.
I'm glad they took Judy and they took Kirby and they did what they did with them. And my favorite scene with Kirby was actually when she was in the police station and they were looking at all the ghost faces, and she was like, "Yeah, that's Billy, and that's the ghost faces who attacked me, and and that was Roman, and he's the most ambitious because he did all this shit alone." And I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
is that what we're calling it? Okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah, not like even though like it was obviously just there for fan service. Her little scene with Mindy was cute or whatever.
And that was, I don't agree with the original Nightmare on Elm Street being the best. It's definitely Dream Warriors, and Cycle 2 being underrated. I agree. It's very underrated. But the rest of those Psycho sequels are trash. But I like I like that Kirby was back. I was like, I don't know what I was when they said she was coming back. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what her purpose was going to be, because I didn't know until you told me last week that she was going to be an FBI agent. So like that was like I if you didn't tell me that, I would have gone in not knowing anything about Kirby's return. So I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. So I don't know, I enjoyed Kirby. Like it could have been more they could have done, because she was kind of stiff, but also like Hayden hadn't acted in a couple years, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll give her that. But what about Tara? Did we like Tara this time around, Maria?
She was kind of like annoying in the beginning. Like I get you're trying to build like your life back up and you don't want to get stuck in the past. Like I get that, but she has to like chill out for a second. Like like she's gotta like her sister just went through something. Like what do you mean? Like of course she's gonna be overbearing. I don't know. I don't know. And then beginning Tara to me was just very annoying. She was just very like just so bratty. Like she was gonna let some random man. I mean, she was drunk, but I don't know. I did not like that. And on top of that, she was just not listening at all to her sister. Like your sister just went through some shit. Like, come on, she's trying to rebuild her life back up too. Um, and I just cannot believe when the whole ghost face thing was happening on the news, and Tara was like, no, New York, it could be anybody. Like, are you like, come on, like, are you serious? Like, what do you mean it could just be anybody? Like, clearly it's you guys. Like, like, I mean, it sucks for Sam, but Ghostface is just always gonna surround her. Her face is everywhere. So, why would it not be connected to your sister? Or to you? Like, people know you too. You know, those are just
Yep.
my thoughts.
And like you can also, like, even if Ghostface isn't after you, like people see you. There are like some true crime obsessed like weirdos out there who might be stalking you because who you are. You're a true crime figure. Like
which we
Tara,
saw.
like yes, like Sam was like 100% right, and Tara was pissing me off. And it took the bodega scene for her to be like, "Oh shit, we're in trouble again." Like, bitch, you, what's wrong with you?
Like she didn't even like obviously she wouldn't know, but like her whole classmate was plotting on her ass to kill her, fucking Jason.
Like Sam is traumatized because she had to kill someone and everything that she went through. But I'm like, Tara, you were physically beat the fuck up in that last movie. Like bones broken, limbs broken. You couldn't you were in pain trying to roll the fucking wheelchair because you're fucking they stabbed you through the hands. Like why aren't you the one who's more fucking hyper alert? Because if I got beat and stabbed and broken bodied that bad, I'd be hyper vigilant more than anyone.
That ass though.
And she was annoying and she was annoying me the entire movie.
Yeah, she
She
was.
was annoying me and then watching her make out with like she was being annoying and watching her make out with Chad was just like ugh. I was like, can we kill her? Like can that just be a thing? Can that be like the final thing that she just dies? But whatever. What about you, Tuan?
Yeah, she was definitely like annoying me at the beginning, especially once because I also had the same question as Gail. I'm like, where is y'all mama at? And then once Sam was like, the mom basically disowned both of them. I'm like, girl, you don't have anybody else. Like, y'all dad already gone. Like, well,
No,
Tara's dad.
it was the mom disowned Sam, and because the mom disowned Sam and given everything they had just been through with each other, Tara disowned the mom and
Yeah, so
stuck
she
with
ain't got
Sam.
nobody. Yeah, so like it's like you gotta stick with your sister. Like she obviously moved to New York with you for a reason. Like it's not just like some like I just wanna like find my way in New York. Like no, she wants to make sure that you're good and whatever. Like you making like her feel like she's like not doing the right thing when honestly, what she is doing is most definitely the right thing at this moment, being in the closest proximity of you as she could be. It's not much to ask that she knows where you are and X, Y, and Z. So, um, she was definitely like being annoying with that, which is like a whole sibling thing, sure. But later on in the movie, um, like she was fine with what she was with doing. Um, and she also got that really good scene killing Ethan towards the end.
But what about Sam? Did we like Sam? I don't know how I feel about the whole hallucination thing. Oh, but I do want to say one thing about the mom. I feel like we're leading up to something with the mom too, but that's
Yeah,
just me. I
no,
feel
I'm
like there was
feeling
like a yeah, because like we there was a lot of talk about the mom in the first one, and there's a lot of talk about the mom in this one. I feel like we're leading up to something, and you know, I'm not mad that they're going back to like mommy trauma. I'm just glad it isn't
your mom's a
slut
whore.
shaming them. Yeah, because like Maria pointed out, like that was getting very like by the time we got to the third one, I was like, can we please? And then the third one just made it gross because you're slut shaming this woman. Then we find out that she was sexually assaulted and raped and had a kid out of that, and you've been slut shaming her for 3 movies now. Like, so I'm okay with the mom trauma. I'm also glad that it's not a slut shaming thing because whew, I could not deal with that again. Like, how was Sam Mama supposed to know that she was getting her freak on with a serial killer? Like, Billy could have got it from me too, and I would have had no idea. Like,
I'm dead.
You're not wrong though.
I'm weak.
Billy was fine.
You
Now
was
Stu, like,
fine. Like if
Stu
I
looked
was
like a serial killer,
I
but
would have been on that so fast.
right, like shit. Like, I'm sorry. And first question was like, "Damn, Sydney, what took you so long, Sydney? You should have been on that man." But whatever.
I mean, some
But
girls, you know, you gotta respect Sydney's choice, but I would have. I don't
man,
know.
I would have folded.
I would have folded
right
twice.
away. I would have definitely folded. Like, Billy, what'd you say? You wanna? Okay, okay, come on, Billy, let's do it. Like, fuck it. So
Like,
you gotta ask. Just give me that raised eyebrow, and it's on, Billy. Let's do this. But yeah, I feel like we're leading somewhere with the mom. I don't know what's gonna be, and I hope it's a big payoff and not lackluster. Because that shit they did with Scream 3 with the ghost mom in the woods was
see, it made less the only thing that's even saving it the smallest amount for me is that we know that she has like some like mental disorder and takes medication for it. That's why it made no sense. It made this. That's the only reason it gets the slightest like semblance of past for me. But the whole thing with Sydney made no sense at all because I'm like, what? Why is Sydney seeing visions?
yeah. It was too much. It was, but overall, I think I didn't like Sam in the last one because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what she was gonna be. I was like, I hope she's not like a copy of Sydney. I hope she's not a copy of Jill. I was like, I don't know what she's gonna be, and then I didn't know where they're gonna go with her, and then she kind of wasn't even the main. Like she was the main focus of the last one, but she wasn't really the main focus of the last one. There was like a lot going on, and then, but I like her this one. I don't like the hallucinations. It's annoying, and like they not doing the de aging right because it's like Skeet Ulrich looks like he had some plastic surgery and it didn't go well. It's not giving Princess Leia de aging. So like, but overall, like I think of the core four, she was the most improved because I feel like we got to know more of like she throughout that last one she was established more. So now we just get to just see her
Yeah.
be the character this time instead of like building on that. What I feel like with the other three, they kind of just told us who they were. They were these archetypes, and that's who they were. While they watched, well, they made us go through a journey with Sam, and now we're here with Sam, and here she is. So I was like, I kind of like her, overbearing, but I like her. What about you, Tuan?
Yeah, I definitely thought Sam was like better around this time, and I just feel like they just gave her more to work with, and maybe the direction was a little bit better for her this time around. And I also feel like she just came in with something to prove because the people online was bashing her ass for real about five. Like they were on her like really hard, and I just feel like she came.
Really? How?
They were really on. A lot of people did not like Sam for in five. Like they thought Sam was like really bad. They didn't like her acting. They thought like her acting was bad and stuff. And they really a lot of people in like the fandom or whatever they like toxic fandom. There we go. They did not like Sam. And they thought like Melissa was like not good at acting and like the character that they were trying to get her to portray. And I feel like for this one, it really showed like how well, she was really good and um she wasn't like they toted the line even more of her not being like Sydney, which I think also like helped in her favor. And it just felt like she got better like lines and stuff this time around, and like I said before, like better direction as well. Like especially towards the end, like that, like the face acting she was doing at the end when she would had the gun pointed at Quinn once Tara killed Ethan, like with stabbed him with the knife, and she's like, "Looks like you're down another brother." Like her line delivery and shit right there, it was like really good, and like the way her like she was having that like the darkness come out of her or
No,
whatever.
she told the cop, "You down, mother kid."
Now she told Quinn first, because then she shot Quinn after.
Oh,
Yeah, because then once the cop came, she was like, "Looks like all your kids are dead" or some shit like that.
oh, okay, okay, okay. You're right. You're right. You're right.
But
Damn.
it's like
Either
the
way,
way
she was badass.
yeah, she was badass there. Like she and like her phone call with Ghostface leading up to the like bodega and stuff. It was just like really she just like felt like she was more comfortable this time around. And I guess that's also why I mentioned earlier I like that scene of them at the table when she was like talking about like being hated because I felt like that was more real than like the movie. I felt like that she was coming from the heart with that because she probably saw the discourse online about her with the first Scream. That's why I kind of like that scene. It felt like even though it was about Sam, a character in the movie, with the whole like the Reddit page and stuff about her, I feel like it was also just kind of real to outside of that and the actress herself. So I felt like she was definitely improved in this one, and I don't I mean I liked her in five. I thought she was fine, but she definitely was like way more improved in this one.
I will say because I forgot to mention it earlier because I forgot about it. The scene with them, like the scenes with the core four, the scenes with the group of friends just like hanging out and talking, I enjoyed because I feel like we didn't get enough of that in the last one.
Hmm.
So like actually seeing all them together hanging out and like seeing the four of them joking around, it was like okay, damn, I like them, and damn, it's gonna suck when Mindy dies. Is what I kept on thinking because I was like, look, like I like seeing them, but like even them in the van, they were bonding and joking around. I was like, okay, I fucking like this group. Like I like, I like seeing like them hanging out as a group and being friends,
Yeah.
and then they get killed. Like, because I don't think we saw enough. Because again, like that's why seeing Tara with the two of them now felt weird because we didn't really get to see their interaction last time. But Maria, what are your thoughts on Sam?
I mean, I like her. I agree with everything you guys said. I definitely feel like her acting was better in this movie. I mean, I did like her in the last movie. I just didn't like the fact that they were playing on the whole Billy thing so much. In this movie, I kind of thought that they were gonna try to make her into like the next Sydney, which I mean, she was really badass. But I liked the fact that they kind of also mixed in like the ruthlessness of Billy. You know, because Sydney usually, Sydney just in the movies, she kind of just like tries to survive. Like she's just trying to get out of there. She's trying to save everyone or whatever. But I feel like Sam here was like, no, you guys hurt us and my friends and terrorized us. Fuck you. So she stabbed the shit out of the all of them. And I mean, I like her. I'm just wondering to see where they're taking this whole Billy thing. Like, I'm glad that in this movie you only saw like one hallucination of Billy, like towards the end. But I'm just wondering what's gonna happen with that. I guess wondering where they're gonna take that. I hope they do. I hope they really do something with it, and it's not just like a way to bring Billy back. You know what I mean? Like, I just hope there's actual thought behind that. But overall, I mean, I like Sam. I like that not only is she trying to, survive, just like Sydney, she's also really like ruthless, and like just as much as the ghost faces themselves. I mean, not just her, but like Tara too. I feel like Tara really did well in that last scene too. Um, but I like Sam. I mean, I didn't. I felt really bad for her when they were like harassing her online, because that was bad. They just hated her for no reason, and to think that it was all Quinn, like, was
Oh
way.
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, she was like, I spread that. It was so easy. Which I mean, yeah, nowadays, the internet, you just say whatever and people, run with it. But I felt so bad for her. Like how and I hate that Tara was so mad at her sister and how sister doesn't leave her alone. Telling her sister to move on. Like, how is Sam supposed to move on if all she sees everywhere she goes is people judging her and saying stuff to her? I feel like she can't even go online without seeing people blaming her for for being a murderer too. Like, that's like Sam. I'm pretty sure Sam would love to move on. She just can't, and that sucks. But that's my own opinion.
Yeah, like I was saying, I do think they're going somewhere with the whole. we keep on seeing Billy. It has to. There has to be a climax to that at some point. Like they just can't keep showing him and not give us a fucking payoff. And I feel like it's gonna be something that has to do with the mom. I feel like the last movie is gonna. I feel like the next movie we're gonna lose Chad and Mindy, and it's gonna be just like gonna be zeroed in on Tara and Sam, and then the mom's gonna be there, and I feel like it's gonna go into a whole. I think they're doing a better job of repeating Scream 3. Because it was just random as fuck when we got to Scream 3, and all of a sudden Sidney had this long lost brother, and it was all contrived. But I feel they're what's the word? They're plotting the course to get us to something similar, not a surprise like sibling, but like a deranged mother or something. That I don't know. I feel like something's coming with the mom and Billy. I'm kind of excited for what I hope they do. If y'all get what I mean. Do y'all
What do
get
you
what I
mean?
mean? Oh my god. Really, you get what I mean?
What, the mom being a killer or some shit?
Not the not the mom being the killer, but I feel like it's going somewhere with the whole family dynamic and the mom and Tara, and then uh, what's Sam and Billy. I just feel like it's going somewhere with this like family thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be the main focus of the next movie. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I feel like I think that's where it's going.
I mean, I feel like it kind of has to, doesn't it? Um with Roman, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like if I mean, I really do like that they're in a way following the
The
original
original
movie.
trilogy.
You know, like I love that. I actually really love that idea because they're not like copying the movies like directly. They're kind of making up their own stuff, which is cool. But I'm assuming that is where they're going, especially because Roman himself
It's a
also had mom.
reinterpretation, pretty much.
Yeah,
Roman did have mommy issues, but his was unwarranted. That lady didn't ask to be raped. But I get what you're saying, Maria. I actually like that, Maria. I liked it a lot.
I mean, I don't really have much to the theory, to be honest. I just feel like I definitely feel obviously it's gonna be mommy issues. I definitely see it being in the family. I'm just wondering if because I don't know who the killers would be if not Sam or Tara, because I mean, unless the mom had an illegitimate, like a random child somewhere else, unless Billy had another child somewhere else, because he obviously was
Oh my
going
gosh. I really
around.
hope. I would be like, if they do some shit like that, I'm be like, all right, y'all pushing it, y'all pushing it real hard right now.
You know what I keep seeing online? People keep talking about Skeet, not Skeet, fucking
Stu.
Stu coming. I'm like, where? I'm like, I don't understand. Like, only thing that happened to him was a TV fell on him. I'm like, okay, you talking about TVs? People are talking about TVs as in like the flat screen TVs. There's no way, but those fucking TVs back in the days were heavy as shit. Like that definitely could have did some deadly damage to you if it fell on you in a certain angle. Like, because my mother I had one of them big ass like floor units. Like if that fell on you, you was dead. Stu
That
ain't
shit,
coming back.
like, I don't know, like, I feel like some people are just so attached to that idea that was supposed to happen in the past. I'm like, y'all, that was like when the first three movies came out. Like, we are so far beyond now. There is no point in thinking that man is still alive.
Like, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well just bring Billy back to life since we keep fucking seeing him. Oh, but what if Billy isn't dead?
Bye.
What if that's where they're going? Like, what if Billy's like in a coma somewhere? And
I ain't trying to hear that.
actually, I
I would
think
honestly really hate that.
yeah,
I would, I would actually be so like they do shit like that. I would be so pissed. Like, okay, y'all can get stabbed like 1,000 times and still survive, but I'm sorry, you get. I know some people have survived getting shot in the head, but that man was shot dead. Like, I ain't trying to hear it.
But see, I fully think they're gonna do what I hope they do. The theory that Maria put out last week, and that was the one where like the killer doesn't know they're the killer, and I feel like that'd be perfect for Sam. That way, like she isn't technically she isn't the killer, so we still get to keep Sam. We just have to like deal with like her baggage, her split personality, which is her murdering daddy coming out to play. Which I feel like they're the hallucinations of Billy has to come to something, and the constant talking about the mom, has to come to something. And if none of that's resolved, it's gonna piss me off more than Halloween Ends did.
I really think with whatever they do with seven, it could be. I think the cult idea could be done for seven, just because we know at the end of three, like Roman was the reason he put up Billy to do whatever in one, and also Stu. So like maybe we
Ooh,
can have a ringleader who controls the ghost
not
face.
even that. What if? Because they kind of already they have a great like kickoff for it. People already think that Sam did the Woodsboro killings. So now people think that Sam did the New York killings. What if there's a group, those people out there who love serial killers and like obsessed with them and write them love letters in jail. What if there's like a group of people who are like they believe that Sam's the killer, but they're not negative about it. They're like, we fucking love you, Sam, and they become a ghost face cult, and they're obsessed with Sam and they're obsessed with Billy, and they like worship her. I'd be okay with that. And they're killing off all her people to get her to like come be their leader. I don't like that it got quiet.
I'm processing that in
I'm
my
just
head.
thinking about it.
Because you can keep the cult idea and still center it around Sam, but
I
instead
feel
of them
like
being a
I feel like that's close to like what they were trying to do in this one. Not in the cult, but like they were trying to like get kill people close to her to make her go crazy. I don't know. Like, not that that's what her fans would do, but I mean, in turn, that's what would literally happen.
mm-hmm, like some Manson family type shit. Like we want you to be our leader, so we have to get rid of all the people around you, and then just come join us. Be the lead Ghostface.
Mm.
But enough of that. We've talked a long time, but now it's time for Tawan's favorite part of the podcast. Tawan, can you give the people the behind the scenes info and facts that we make sure that
Yes. The budget for Scream 6 was around 33 to 35 million, and the current box office as it stands, which note this movie is still in theaters, so this number can fluctuate up, but as of now, it stands at 75.1 million, which is very good for Scream.
which is the biggest opening for the entire franchise.
And a little bit of interesting info. Nev Campbell did not return to this movie due to a contract dispute. Um, this movie is Hayden Panettiere's first acting credit in over 5 years. There were already plans to involve Panettiere in Scream 2022, but she couldn't be located in time, so it limited her presence to her picture on the YouTube thumbnail and a voice cameo. Courtney Cox was the first cast member to sign up to return as Gail Weathers. She states that she did not hesitate to return because she loves playing Gail, and jokingly said that she'd even play her for free. And she also has an EP credit on this film. This is the first Scream film to be shot outside of the United States, as shooting took place in Montreal, Canada. On the scene in the movie where the not the fans, where the core four were in the train platform and train, there were some costume Easter eggs that included the likes of Hot Rod from the movie Hot Rod, Georgie from It, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Tom Cruise while he was in Risky Business, and also his Top Gun character, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls, Pinhead, Leatherface, Chucky, The Babadook, The Family from Us, the May Queen from Midsommar, and so many more, including non horror costumes during the Halloween party. Current critics' reactions. The film is currently sitting at a 75% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, writing, "Nevertheless, off we go on another aggressively gruesome, wickedly funny, and at times cleverly staged scream fest that cheerfully defies logic while hitting all the right notes we've come to expect from the franchise." The Guardian gave the film a 4-star rating out of 5, describing it as gorier and smarter follow-up to Scream 2022. Empire gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, opinion that it was still far more inventive and entertaining than most horror franchises of a similar vintage, yet one of the sillier series entries in terms of plot, but still scary enough and funny enough to leave you hoping Ghostface might kill yet again. And lastly, The Hollywood Reporter gave it a mixed review, believing the film to be a satisfying addition to the franchise by blending nostalgia with a fresh take, but concluded that it was not exactly cutting edge anymore.
I don't know if I agree with that last part, but enough about them. Let's talk about us. Maria, Tuan, do we cash or pass? Scream 6. Maria.
Um, I'll cash. I liked it. Um, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't buy it like if it came out on DVD or something. But I liked the movie. I enjoyed watching it in theaters. Um, it was definitely a good movie. It was definitely different than the other screams, and I'm excited to see where they're gonna take the storyline.
Tuan.
Yeah, I'm definitely cashing on this one. I mean, I already seen it 3 times, so they already got my cash, and they will probably have it again when the DVD comes out because I will be purchasing. Um, I like this movie. I Even though like it wasn't shot on location, I like the change of location for the story of it being in New York. You know, like it could be this could happen anywhere, things could happen anytime, stuff like that. I like how tense it felt. I haven't felt like this tense watching a movie in a while, with some of the set pieces and how like suspenseful it was. The actors really brought it up this time as well, especially Melissa Barrera. I thought she was great. While I didn't like the motives as much of the like Ghostface in this one and like the killers in general, since it was it was basically a retread of Scream 2. I still liked everything else that we got with the movie, so I didn't mind it, and I would definitely cash Scream 6 and can't wait to see where we go from here.
And for me, it's a cash. I had some issues with the movie overall, and I usually hate when people say that, but I had some issues with the movie, and but overall, it was good. Like I didn't miss Nev as much as I thought I was. So the fact that they were able to like not have Nev there and still and like her presence, the absence of her presence wasn't like a hole or dent in this movie is a great plus for me. The fact that all the returning characters survived was something that bugged me, but I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoyed having Kirby back. It would have this would have been 100% pass if they brought back Kirby and they killed her. Like that would have been like a fuck this movie. But Kirby's alive again and she can come back and Gail's alive for whatever that's worth. But like overall, I feel like this movie was bigger and better. It's the most ambitious it's been, because they went to LA and Scream 3, but they didn't really do anything. They just showed us a bunch of like backlots and we were on a Universal Studio lot. Like that was but like even though they weren't in New York, it felt like they were in New York, and it was a different feel. Like it being a big city, like up the ante. Like only thing that was missing for me was like a chase scene down Times Square, which is what I kept waiting for. But all of our wishes can't come true. But it's a cash for me. Would I buy this on DVD or Blu-ray? No. Would I pay my Paramount Plus subscription and watch it when it comes on there, you're damn skippy. But that's it. Join us next week, though, as we're back into our regular schedule, and we're going to be reviewing The Bye Bye Man, which is vastly different from Scream in so many ways, from the acting to the script to the acting. But that's for next week. Bye. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?